All right, fight fans. The Mayweather-McGregor, or if you're a real mixed martial arts fan, the McGregor vs. Mayweather pay-per-view is happening on August 26th. I want to know down below here if you're going to purchase that son of a gun for 100 smackaroons. But mostly I'm here to tell you what I saw at the press conference, what really went down at the press conference, and if you haven't seen it already, if it will be worth you watching the press conference, and if you have already, then we can discuss it in the comment section down below. I see that there are a few of you here already. Got our first vote. So the first person said, first two people are definitely going to purchase the Mayweather vs. McGregor pay-per-view. That is $100 that might be well spent, might not be well spent. So a little bit ago, it's actually 2 hours ago now, the World Tour for McGregor vs. Mayweather stopped in Los Angeles, California. And it was a thing that happened. I'm not used to boxing type of press conferences. And it should be noted that it was hardly even a press conference, because the main part where there were 15,000 people in attendance to listen to Mayweather and McGregor say their stuff, to maybe get in some beef, talk some shit to each other, there were no press questions. They didn't answer any questions. It came up and some guys told us how they were able to make the fight happen. They're like, oh yeah, so we were able to pair with Dana White, even though nobody thought this fight was going to happen. Nobody thought that this fight could be put together, but back in the day, nobody thought that Mayweather could be his own promoter, and look what he did, and look, we got the fight put together. And that's all like neato. And then they said, Dana White's going to come talk, and all Dana White did was he played Bruce Buffer for a second, and he came out, and he said, the notorious Conor McGregor, and then McGregor came out, and then from that point on, for the next little bit, it was like a middle school speech competition. McGregor just got up there, and he said a bunch of stuff that didn't really have any coherence to it. It's not like there wasn't an attention grabber, there wasn't like the meat of it, there wasn't a good conclusion. He went up there, and he started to do his thing, I'm fucking Conor McGregor, look at me! My suit, look at the fucking pinstripes. They say fuck you on them. And that was kind of neat, but then he just kind of stopped for a bit and he says, I'm just kind of taking it in. I don't really know what's going on up here. I'm just taking it in. This is a boxing press conference. I'm not really used to it. But you know what fires me up? Conor McGregor Jr. Woo! And then he started to say stuff like, Mayweather talks smack on the UFC. Boxers in the past have done that, but they came to the UFC's ring and they didn't do well. James Toney, of course, he's talking about. And he said, but Mayweather's such a pussy, I got to go into the ring with him. So there was that. Then Conor ridiculed him for needing to use 10-ounce gloves because Mayweather's going up in weight to fight McGregor, and that was like, okay, cool. Then we went to the other side, and Mayweather's like, I make lots of money, motherfuckers. Look at this. I got a $100 million check. This chump only makes $3 million per fight. That's what it costs me to do training camp. I was like, okay, great. And Conor McGregor's suit was looking fly as fuck. And it really did say fuck you in the pinstripes. And Floyd comes out wearing a hoodie, American flag TM, the money team hoodie. Okay, neat. And the whole time Conor McGregor was talking smack, spitting game at him, Floyd just sat there, did nothing. Okay, great. Then when Floyd's got the microphone, they gave Conor a mic and he's like spitting shit back at him. And it got to a point where Floyd was like, he said I wanted the 10-ounce gloves. Well, you know what? I don't care if they're 10-ounce, 8-ounce, 6-ounce, 4-ounce. I'll do the thing in the octagon. And Conor went to say, bullshit. It says in the contract that we're going to use 10-ounce gloves, and then it's happening in a ring. But they cut his microphone off, and then he couldn't talk anymore. And Floyd just went on about, I make lots of money to box. I make lots of money to box. Then a little bit later, after there were no press questions, they didn't allow it, they cut him off. And then they did a face-off, but the face-off were so close, they were further apart than you and I are right now. Conor couldn't reach his hands out to touch him. There were nobody in between them. You didn't feel the fire like you would feel from a UFC press conference, even if it's fake, like, hold me back. No, seriously, hold me back. I don't actually want to fight this guy right now. When people do that type of shit, it hypes you up for the fight. When Dana White's in there getting his face pushed around, when Dave Scholler's getting tossed around by Johnny Boney Joni, that shit's fun. But here, there must be, obviously there's a stipulation in the contract they can't touch each other. That'd be assault. But it's fun to have the veil of fake during these press conferences leading up to the fight. A lot of people are saying that the fight itself is going to be boring because most Floyd Mayweather fights are not that exciting. So the lead up is really where the show is. That's really where we're going to get the theatrics. There was none of that tonight. They were so far apart, there was no threat of danger for either man. They just stood there and stared at each other while Conor McGregor annoyingly chewed his gum. What the hell ever. And then Randy Schuler said Johnny Boney Joni. I like watching Eugene S. Robinson's show or listening to it. It's called Knuckle Up, and he says Johnny Boney Joni a lot, so I got that from him. Then after that press conference was over, they were too far away from each other to even, I want them close enough to smell each other's breath, but that wasn't the case. Afterward, they did individual press conferences where the media could ask each guy questions. I just watched a little bit of Conor McGregor's, and Floyd Sr. was jawing at him, saying that Conor McGregor's been knocked out before, and Conor says, I submitted! You know nothing about this game! And they just kept doing that, and then Conor said something about if Floyd disrespects him during this press conference tour, during the World Tour, he might throw an elbow at his face, yada yada, just kind of jawing back and forth. Really, so overall, my impression, not that cool. Ray Maggio Puani, I'm sorry, man. I apologize for butchering your name. He thinks it was good. I don't think it was good. No, Javert Marquez Perea says the lead-up is where the show is. What are you, 12? This is what I'm talking about. The Floyd Mayweather fights are not that great. The lead-up is really where we're going to be and be able to enjoy Conor McGregor and his theatrics. And they didn't cut him loose tonight. When he was jawing at Floyd, Floyd never responded to him. When Floyd was talking and Conor was trying to respond to him, they cut his microphone off. There was no theatrics. It was really boring. Lauren Ryder says, what no one talks about is Floyd relies on the clinch game during his matches. It's where he catches his breath. He won't have the opportunity against Conor. Conor will dominate the clinch game. Believe it. Matthew Ambery says Senior versus Conor was okay. Storm Woodrose, or Words, sorry for butchering your name. It wasn't good, but it wasn't bad. When we're talking about the most highly anticipated event in sports history, and to me, the press conference was an utter and complete flop. They could have done way better than this. To me, that's bad. Don't get me wrong, they're still going to sell a boatload, a shitload, breaking records with how many pay-per-views they're going to sell, but we're coming in here to this fight with huge expectations. Like I said, the biggest pay-per-view event of all time, maybe. And to me, the press conference was just really, really flat. Adam Lawson says Conor will be better prepared for the banter tomorrow, but this was lame. Right. One of the things that, so I started where Conor comes out, he's standing by himself, and I kind of watched from there on. And Conor had no sense of direction with his speech. There were points where it was cool, like where we mentioned his pinstripes. There were points where Floyd's was cool, where it was kind of cool that he was making fun of the money that Conor McGregor made. And then when Conor said, the IRS is going to be after you, bitch, and then Floyd says to Conor, I'm the IRS, man, I'm going to tax your ass on August 26th. So we got some cool one-liners out of it. But overall, the whole thing, they could have just done so much more. It reminds me of a video game that I kind of like, Destiny. Shitloads of hype coming into it, and then you get there to the alpha or the beta, and it's just kind of like, what? This is it? This is what I've been hyped about for a long time? So in my opinion, Andy Assay says that they're going to be preliminary fights. Yeah, but I don't even think they're announced yet. Joe Ghana says that's because Showtime is running the press conference. It's not even Showtime running the press conference, guys. It is Mayweather Promotions, really. Floyd Mayweather is controlling the whole thing. He's the puppeteer behind this. Mayweather Promotions is the main thing behind this. It was presented to us by Showtime, and maybe Showtime gathered the people together, but really this is Floyd's show, and Conor is secondary. Pote Lozano Jr. says Conor is doing a ton for MMA. Perhaps he is. It depends. I'm wondering why they would place them so far apart. 3 fights have been announced. David Jolivet. Well, let's check them out. Actually, are they going to throw any MMA fights on the show? It's Adams Swarbrick. It's just boxing. There is no mixed martial arts involved in it. The undercard will have no crazy fights like Nate Diaz versus anybody. There won't be Stipe Miocic versus blanking on the dude's name. None of that. It's just going to be boxing. Going to be a normal Floyd Mayweather boxing undercard, where normally when I've purchased Floyd Mayweather boxing pay-per-views, the main event is what you're there for. You're there for Floyd Mayweather, obviously, but then the 3 fights below him are a bunch of huge mismatches, and it's not. So you'll see the odds like minus 1,500, on a favorite. It's not that cool. Floyd was scripted how he can be. How can he be so? Floyd was scripted. Can't say the same things for the next 4 days. The Conor McGregor show will be the next 3 days. Anthony Joshua, yeah, thank you, Ricky Burkhughes. None of that. Stipe challenged Anthony Joshua, and Anthony Joshua said, "Who the fuck is that guy?" So, what are the odds on McGregor versus Mayweather? Let me pull them up, y'all. And if you're interested, the Dana White Tuesday Night Fight Series is starting right now on UFC Fight Pass. With the first fight of the night is Azuna Aniwu versus Greg Rebello. It's happening shortly, so I'm interested in that and watching that. But the odds on Mayweather versus Conor, of course, Mayweather is a huge favorite. Minus 760, the comeback on Floyd Mayweather, minus 760, the comeback on the notorious Conor McGregor is plus 530. So if you're a gambling man, there really probably is some value on Floyd Mayweather. I know that I wanted to talk about Brendan Schaub recently. He was talking to Mauro Ranallo, and Brendan was like, "Oh, Floyd's in for it, man. A lot of these boxing guys, they just don't know it, man. Conor McGregor, he's hungry. He hits hard." Great. Floyd Mayweather has already fought hungry, young boxers who hit hard. And guess what happened? 49-0. We got a guy who's 0-0 in boxing. Sure, he's young, he's hungry, he hits super hard. But as Conor McGregor said at the press conference, this is under a very limited set of rules, man. You can't knee him, you can't kick him. There's no threat of knees being thrown anywhere. There's no dirty. You can't clinch for any amount of time. Nothing. Conor McGregor is in for it, I believe. Frank's Salcedo says he hopes that McGregor knocks him out. Me too, my friend. Me too. Conor McGregor is... Oh, here we go. Stephen Whittemore says the way they introed Conor was anticlimactic, and the fact that they cut his mic and likely amped up the volume for his family and friends to holler back to his dumb chants was pretty sad. I also didn't care for how Floyd was, "We can do it in an octagon, we use 4-ounce gloves, I don't care," and the uneducated fans will likely never know he's insisting on being in a ring and having bigger gloves. I mentioned that already, Stephen. Floyd can say that, "We do it in the cage with 4-ouncers, but the contract that they had has to be so extensive, so darn extensive, that they're not allowed to ever say anything about how much money they made. And there's stuff in there that if Conor McGregor were to throw any MMA stuff, out at him, there's stuff in the contract about that. So we're getting so... There's stuff in the contract that says Conor McGregor can't use Mexican-made gloves. It specifically states he can't use horsehair gloves. You don't think that they have specified that we're using... And if they're specifying the maker of the glove, you gosh darn well know they specified the weight of the glove, the ring that it's happening in, probably what kind of ropes they're using. I mean, the contract had to be down to brass tacks, brother. You can't use those off-brand nails to put the damn ring together. We're using that Menard shit. I don't know anything about nails. I'm just making shit up. But you see what I'm saying. So, yeah, uneducated fans or people that don't know these rules will be like, "Yeah, Floyd would beat him with 4-ouncers. No, in a real fight, like Conor McGregor said, Conor whoops him. He doesn't know how to defend a takedown. He doesn't know. Conor could... we're talking about if Batman ever fought your grandma. It's not happening. So we're not going to talk about that. Pote Lozano Jr. says, Section 101, Part 3. Frank Salcedo, haha, yup. He meant to take the 49, but couldn't find it. He meant to take the 49. Thoughts and theories on... Any theory, thoughts on Floyd wearing a cap with the 48? I didn't see that. I didn't catch that. Felipe Gonzalez Saavedra. I didn't catch that. No water for Connor. Yeah, oh yeah, in the contract, no water for Connor. Gosh darn it, let's bring in that water that Michael Jordan gave to the guys on Space Jam so they'd play better. Let's bring them that water. Yeah. Are y'all going to watch the Dana White Tuesday Night Contender Series? I think we should. And I'll be back here to talk about Dana White's Tuesday Night Contender Series after the fights are over. And I think I will probably be forced to come here and talk about the press conference each day with Conor McGregor and Floyd Money Mayweather. So each day that it happens, I'll come back, we'll talk about it. And since they've already set the bar pretty low on how great the press conference is going to be, we can only expect that it's going to go up and up and up and up. And hopefully I'll come back here and be like, holy shit, fellas, ladies, gentlemen, that second press conference was a real banger. There was a lot of fun shit said, a lot of one-liners taken out of it. And did you check out the suit both guys were wearing? Beautiful. Hopefully I'll say some shit like that when I come back for the next one. Brody Adair says, could Conor's different style and approach to stance and striking possibly cause problems for Floyd? Possibly. And sure, Conor does hit super hard. Floyd hasn't fought in something like 3 years, is it? Yeah. Thank you for sharing the video, Marvin Guntayan. I mean, sure it could. But it's not like Floyd hasn't fought diverse, legitimate, high-level boxers already. I mean, look, he unanimous decision Canelo. That was probably the last pay-per-view of his I watched. I just don't feel like Conor's going to cause him much problems, but I will probably tune in on August 26th with bells on, with my eyes wide open, watching it thinking, come on, Conor, let's land that left hand, buddy. Woo! I mean, just like the rest of us will. So if I were voting down here, and if I were going to buy the pay-per-view, hitting like for yes, laughy face for no, I'm clicking like. In fact, I'll probably hit the like button with my personal Facebook page after we're done here, which you could please like my personal Facebook page. It's up there. Just click Flyin Brian J on the title of the video, and you'll really help me out. My goal is to get 500 likes by the end of July. So they have a goal to make like $100 million a piece on this fight to break the pay-per-view record, and I hope to get 500 likes. It's beans compared to them. Felipe Gonzalez, his cap had the number 48 on it, not 50. I'm guessing he is undermining the fight for his record, acknowledging it's all about the money. It was weak, predictable, and disappointing press conference. Both men aren't capable of licking the sweat from Ali's balls. No class whatsoever. Well, I hate to say it, and this is going to bring you down a little bit, but the greatest of all time, Muhammad Ali, has passed away. So I'm kidding with you. I know. You're right. But like I said, hopefully in the days to come, they will get better. We'll have another World Tour press conference tomorrow, July the 12th at 5:30 p.m. Eastern Time. You can watch it on UFC Fight Pass or probably Showtime Boxing Promotions, their YouTube channel. So check that out, and we'll be back here tomorrow to say if it is improved, if it got any better than the first one. So thank you all so much for joining me. Thank you in advance for liking my Facebook page, and I will see you after the Tuesday Night Contender Series, and I will also see you tomorrow probably for the recap of the second stop of the World Tour press conference with Floyd Money Mayweather and Conor Mystic Mac, the notorious McGregor. Thanks again for joining me, and I'll see you later. Namaste.